Hello everybody, welcome to Live Scribbles with Jonathan. You can check out my website and my work at jonathanrector.com. And if you're new to the show, if this is your first time watching the stream on YouTube, or perhaps you're new to the chat, this show is every Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't worry if you can't make the streams or if you can't make the shows or anything like that, there's a couple things you can do. One, every weekend, the following weekend of the show, I upload the recorded version up on YouTube, which you're probably watching if you're not here in the stream, and thank you so much for doing so. Another thing you can do is just check in the description bar below. There's a whole bunch of links there. One of them that you're going to look for is the picarto.tv link, and that link's going to take you here to where the stream's happening. There's a follow button you can hit at the top, and you'll get an email whenever the show goes live. And I also, it's been a little light this week, but it will definitely ramp up as projects are going and stuff like that. And you'll get an email whenever blah, 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 that stuff goes. So, how's everybody doing? Is everybody having a kick-ass week? I hope so. What's new? What can I talk about before we start getting into the drawing? You know, we like to do a little bit of updates and stuff. James, I did see that you were talking about something in the chat. I apologize. If you could quickly, anyway, go up and copy and paste what you were saying and definitely put in the image or the link to the image, and I'll do a quick critique or help you out with your page there. We'll start off with that, and then we'll get back into this. What this is for Worlds in Peril. I know this might look a little, I guess, dark, evil looking, if you will, than some of the normal images. But this stuff I don't get to draw too often, like these zombies, or if I like to call them. I made a what's it called, a tweet last night just showing the process of this, and you guys can follow my Facebook and stuff. I post the process stuff on there if you guys are interested, of not getting to draw too many zombies and or what I like to call them melt faces. In this case, this cat, I'm going to put some radioactive barrels of waste in the background. This guy, unfortunately, was scalded by hot radioactive waste, and that's how he turns into a zombie melt-face villain kind of thing. So there's a couple things here. One, I would like to actually spend a little bit more time to get into the detail in this, and I really like drawing this stuff from time to time. Doing an entire comic book like this would be, oh my god, that would take so much time and work. Because zombies, for me anyway, they have to have like a certain look that I like for zombies. And I'm not necessarily saying this is that look, but there's something about, you know, hanging flesh and stuff it can be one of the coolest things that you get to draw, and then it can be one of the most tiresome, detail-heavy things that you don't necessarily want to draw all the time. But that's the nature of the job, and sort of, oh man, what's going on? Does he have 6 fingers? I hope not. 1, 2, 3, 4... 1, 2, 3, 4. This area right here actually might be what you're talking about with 6 fingers. This right here is the palm. You can kind of see it connects in here. We'll be putting shadow and stuff in there. Okay, so Jim was saying, could I borrow a minute or two of your time? Show me thumbnails of your comic. It's just to see if what I see is good. I flow to you as well. And panel layout. Hopefully you will taught me enough time. Okay, no problem. Yeah, Jim, if you can post the link here in the chat, that way I could just grab it from here. So a couple things as well. I'll just be noodling here. Okay, so somebody I did quickly notice asked if I'm going to meet my deadline for this. Unfortunately, no, I'm not going to be able to meet the deadline as much as I tried my hardest to do so. Guys, anybody that knows me personally knows how much I've been working on this. I've done everything I possibly could besides, whoops, there's a giant line there. I've done everything I possibly could except not take this job. Meaning I've worked a lot of hours trying to get this. It's just not going to happen. So I think we're getting this pushed back for another week to 2 weeks around there, and that's not going to lighten up my workload at all. That just means, you know, it'll give me more time to do this, which sucks. I hate ever having to do this on a project, but it's my fault for accepting the project in hopes that I would finish it in time. So, you know, it's a bum out. You know, people would like to talk about that stuff if you'd like to. Like, we could talk about missing deadlines and stuff. You know, it's the business side, I suppose. All that nitty gritty. What else? Oh, so I recorded the beginning of a video, which will be a review series for you. I don't think, actually, I forget if I talked about it last stream or not. But it was getting a new drawing tablet. Right now I'm using the Cintiq 12WX, which I think is a beautiful piece of hardware. I would recommend it in a heartbeat. I'm just looking for some more space in that. So thank you to everybody. Some of you might be in the chat actually that reached out to me and shared some information of products you guys have used in the past or products you're currently using, and all that stuff. And what I'm going with is, I think it's the Huion, I believe it's called, or I'll just say Huion. I always screw it up. GT 220, I believe the model is. It's a 22-inch drawing surface, except there's no like express keys like here on the Cintiq. So on the Cintiq here, you've got like your drawing surface, and then there's express keys here, and these are just keys that you can, you know, click and do stuff with. This one that I'm getting is literally, it looks like this. It's pretty much a screen just right on it. There's no keys. So I'm actually practicing right now, just using everything with my keyboard, and we'll see how that goes. But in trying to warm up to work on that surface, what I've done here is I've been trying to work here, and if you look, this is 600 dpi and this is about 27.3% zoomed in. And what's really cool is yes, Pillowhead, that's the one. What's that? What? Oh no, I'll definitely get paid. Now it's up to them if they want to take their time paying me. You know, fair's fair. No, the scribbles time had nothing to do with it. I mean, the talking that slows me down a little bit, it's in the grand scheme of it, it's nothing. It's nothing. And yes, it's the 220 series. What was I talking about? Oh, so zooming out. And what I've noticed is like my pen strokes and stuff. This is the first image here that I've drawn zoomed out like this. And I wanted to do that so I could see everything. There's a lot of, you know, like over here there's not much rendering going on this side. But here there's a lot more detail. And there's a few reasons for that. That's, you know, I want your eye to go to the face first. That's why I have a lot of these shadow details in here. Like I could just, this is what I'm saying, I could noodle this to death. I could just keep going in here and just adding more shadow and more rendering, even just like stuff like this. It's just to push and pull shapes. This is the stuff where I'll put on music, kind of like the music you guys listen to. I've been really into thrash the last few months, especially just trying to find new bands and stuff. But just going in here and just doing that stuff because I want all your attention to be here. It's going to go to the face regardless, and the rest of this stuff is just sort of like, you know, you get to look at it, but I want the draw to be right on the face here. Let me get this guy out of the way. We don't need him. So yeah, that's also going. Windows also has an on. Okay, so I have only Windows 7. I don't plan on getting Windows 8 or anything like that. I know it does come on the Surface Pro, which I have, and you know, Windows 8 is cool. For me, honestly, guys, nowadays, all I really look forward to on my computer is just being able to run Photoshop. That's the benchmark. If it can run Photoshop, I'm set. If it can run Photoshop, that means it can run Manga Studio 5 beautifully, right? And that's all I need. So as long as I'm hitting those benchmarks, in the Photoshop I'm talking about, I run Photoshop CS, which I don't even know. I think that's 7 maybe. Again, look, this is the stuff I do right here. I don't do fancy design work, logos, and things like this. So I don't. At least I feel like I don't really need it. But I could be wrong. Who knows in time? Right now, anyway, I don't feel like that. But we'll see how it goes. Okay, I just want to jump in here to Jim's question here. Okay, so let's open this up here. All right, now just to fill everybody in, copy image. I just want to make sure everybody else is here on the same page. I don't think anybody has seen the previous page here that Jim had. Let's just zoom in. And what it was a horseman with a man tied behind him, tied to the horse, and he's sort of just walking through a scene. Okay. So right now Jim's saying. So basically, I'm showing the feeding post for the first time with the prisoner being escorted to it, then him secured to it. I'm not sure if I had to show the prisoner being tied to it though. So these are some you know, some things that are, it's all different based on style, based on what you like as an artist with your tempo and your storytelling and stuff like that. Okay, so let me just get another layer here. We'll grab our C-Tech. It's kind of big. And I've moved my Manga Studio around a little bit. I've got all these cursors over here. Again, the reason why is I'm using a lot of the keyboard is fun, but it's not that great. In Manga Studio, thank God that you can add things up to the top here to like make your experience a little better. Tab brings your windows in and out like that, and they've even got like these little arrows you can click to even hide certain areas, like if you just want to, like right here, I'll just click that if I want to switch from one thing to the other. But it definitely helps from ever having to touch your keyboard at all. Okay, so let me. What else is he saying there? Okay, so I'm not sure if he had to show the prisoner being tied to it. Then he pulls out his gun, but it's glancing at the old bones of a previous prisoner. He shoots, but as a reader, you don't know if he shot him or is just messing. But it's attracted nearby zombie. Okay, so we've got a few things here that are a little concerning. And I don't know if you wrote the script to this or not, but I've worked with writers that do this, and I don't want to say I think it lends itself to a writer that doesn't, not that they don't know how to write comics or anything, but it's that how many things can you show in a page, right? So far we've got leads to a post. I'm just gonna go real gross here with the text. Leads to a post, ties to post, points gun, but I'm just going to put a little star here. It's not just that they point a gun. Points a gun at old prisoner bones, and that's actually important because just showing a gun is one thing, right? That's, oh God, they just pulled a gun on me. But then but I'm actually showing you this or that, right? So that's actually a bunch of things here. He shoots, but then he shoots, but we don't know exactly what he shot at. And then it attracts zombies. Okay, so if you can, there's a lot here, and I feel okay. So what's that? It's not a full script. It's just to see what it would look like in a book in the making. Okay, I would. This is most likely 2 pages, bare minimum. You could squeeze all this in here if you really wanted to. Like, here's the thing: we got one action, 2 action, 3 action, which possibly could be 3B, 2 actions, 4 actions, 5 actions. So this is 5 to 6 panels right on here, right? And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks exactly like we're doing that. So panel 1 leads to a post. Panel 2 ties to post. Panel 3 points a gun, and you can see the gun right here. And then shoots. And then attracts zombies. So here's a few problems that are going to come out here, okay? One, let me actually just grab, no, you've already got red, so is blue going to show up well? Let's make it nice and big. So based on what you have here, yes, you've got eye flow. This is great. I like this sort of shot you have up here with the shadows. That's really cool. I believe those are probably mountains in the background, maybe. So it's got this growth that's awesome. Looks over at this guy, and he's tying his arms here. But I'm going to go over the problems after this, okay? Because there's actually quite a few problems still in here. Looks down, which is great. Still looking down, which is great. Gun, you can't help but feel, okay. Gun's pointing exactly where you want it to go. And you got these zombies looking back over their shoulder. So the problem here is you have based on this, you have your eye line going through all of this stuff, but here, you did something here that I've seen a lot of people do, and this is a stylistic choice, and I think it's wrong. Is the idea is these guys' faces are supposed to be looking off the page. You even have the arrow going here, but just because the arrow's there doesn't mean that that's what's the case here, right? What this should look like is this should actually be flipped. Where's my window? Flip horizontal. Okay. So now the character is actually looking this way. Okay. Now a lot of these panels I would change myself. Let's just undo this all here because I just want to show you the last little thing here that that I feel is a little off-putting here. Okay. So whoops. Erase all the crap I drew. Okay. So, leads to a post. Here's problem number 1, okay? We don't see the post in the first panel, but magically it shows up in the second panel. So we need a post here, if this is the panel we're going to choose, okay? You don't want to start introducing just important elements to the story, panel by panel basis, okay? So we have that. The next problem we have here is now the camera's changed. And I was actually in the stream where Will, for those of you who don't know, Will Robson, check out. I think he's got a channel here on Picarto you can check out, Robson Inc. I'll write it here. Check his stuff out. He's on the YouTubes as well. Fabulous artist. So what you did wrong here, or actually here, let me just do this. So this is a cinematography thing. I've shown this a bunch of times. It does take some practice. Definitely does take some practice, okay? And again, I'm not trying to belittle anybody. I'm just trying to show some information that helps me in this sort of thing. So think of it like film, okay? We're in a bird's eye perspective here, okay? So we're a bird flying over top. So we have figure A. This is the horseman. Figure B is the prisoner. And he's still on a horse, I believe. So we'll put C is the horse. Put little ears. And all I'm doing here is I'm actually writing the objects that matter here. D is the post. Okay? So those are all the elements that need to be in this shot. This line is, imagine you were filming this. Okay? You guys are the film crew, your sound crew, all you guys. And you guys are all over here. You guys and girls are all here with lights. You got boom mics. You got lights, camera, director, all that stuff. Okay? You would never ever see these guys in a shot. Never. We all know why. That's very weird to see the directing crew directing a movie in a movie, okay? All the important information are the actors, the stage, the set, okay? So that means you make a line. This is the line. I'm just going to check mark it here. And you can film, not only, but you get to film everything in here. And we're just doing an arc because it's a circle. It's just an easy way for me to think of it. It's really like all of this here, right? But that's all you get to shoot in. So camera's going to go here, camera's going to go here, all that stuff. Now because of that, whenever you see a character on one side, they'll never flip. Not like this. Okay, because this means if I was to draw a guy here, if you can kind of see him, he's got his camera and he's looking at these two guys walking by. Then he runs on this side and he has a camera over here. Does that make sense? It's there's definitely books to read. I don't have any off the top of my head. It's something I'm going to be looking into myself as well. But that's a problem, and that really does affect not necessarily just how you're, when you're working. It's kind of like shooting off the hip and stuff, feeling it out. But as a reader, when you read it, things start to feel a little like there's no harmony when all of a sudden objects and things just start showing up. Based on what I saw here, there's a little hint of a gun, but then this gun flips over, which leads me to believe that this guy all of a sudden turns his gun this way, and he shoots, and he apparently shot these zombies that are like over here somewhere, which isn't the case. These guys aren't even close to this at all, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to actually redraw it. I know you might not want to hear it, but that's just, I think it'll be the easiest way for us to all kind of figure out what's going on. And I'm just going to try to do this really quickly, and hopefully it'll help you out here, okay? So we're going to break it down into 2 pages. Or let me know right now, Jim, does this all have to be on 1 page? Yes, I am, DSR. I am recording this. It will be uploaded Saturday or Sunday. Oh, yeah, no problem. Again, the fact that you redrew, I think, the last one once or twice, and I said it before, anybody that redraws something when they're learning, especially a comic page, a full comic page, I gotta tip my hat off to them, because that's a lot of devotion to work, especially when you're trying to understand things a little better. It's a lot of work, and it takes longer than like myself or somebody that does a lot of comic book pages that can hammer out a page in 6 to 12 hours, where it might take you a week to do, right? And that's just the practice it takes. So anybody that's going to spend that much time fixing or redoing something, I got props for you guys. I only did 2 pages because it's the time I had to spare. Okay. So as many pages as you feel. If there's a script, I think you'd be doing better. If there is a script, I 100% agree with you. Yeah, you would be figuring things out a little easier for yourself. So in this case, I'm going to do 2 panels. And this is what I would do. Let's just say this was the script here, okay? I've already got some ideas coming up, just talking about it. So these zombies are in a forest. So right away, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to draw a little sketch because I can kind of think this might look kind of cool. Is this sketch actually, you know, like actually I'll do 3 real quick ones. So we got a gun, bang, and we need to show a forest. So I'm going to do something here that you see everybody do a lot of the time. Is they just silhouette, which means black everything out. It's very powerful. It's quick. So maybe I can. That's how I can show the forest, and we'll do the classic thing that you always see in movies. Birds are just flying out. Like bang, and it made the sound go of the trees. And then inside the trees, maybe we can have like this, and this is where we can start to show some zombie action. Zombies. Okay, so this is sort of what I'm thinking. That might actually just all be page 2. I don't know. Okay, so let's figure this out here. This is also another thing I like to do on the side. This is a brand new area. I know the last one we were at, you guys don't know, but yeah. This hand thing here, it's a really cool shot. It's a really cool shot. So I'm going to draw a grid here. Imagine if I had like grid paper out. I'm just figuring this out. So you guys don't know this, but I've seen this first page. So we'll say there's a broken down house here, broken down car. Here we have some trees. And again, this is us as a bird flying by. Trees. So I'm assuming now that I can kind of see where this is going. There's trees literally everywhere. And here we might have the post. I don't know why a post would be just here. I don't know all that western kind of stuff. But I'm going to actually put like a little rundown building up here too. Maybe this is where the horses went and, you know, they tie up the horses and stuff. I don't know. But I know there's got to be bones and stuff here, okay? So that's my grid. Now that I know everything's in there, that's everything I need to worry about. That's all the elements that I have to remember to keep in shots to place people everywhere, okay? To let everybody know what's going on. So whenever I change the angle, if I show a house in the background, they know where that house is. Okay, so we need to lead the prisoner to a post, tie him to the post, and point a gun at the prisoner, and then shows these bones sort of thing. Okay, so let's just quickly hammer out a page here. So we've got a brand new, well, yeah, it isn't. We'll just say this is brand new kind of stuff here. Okay. So here we go. We're gonna have an establishing shot. Nothing too crazy. The post is actually, you know, something relatively important here. So maybe we'll just do a horizontal shot. Just trying to figure out like some feelings here that I'm going here. Maybe the second one here is the post, and here we'll have like a zoomed in look at the guy's face. Like, damn it, why is all that going on? Do another horizontal shot of him tying the guy up. Which is actually kind of weird because here we have him, I guess he tied him up and then he walks backwards and then points a gun at him, which is kind of, and I see the bones you have here. I get where the story would go with that. So let's see if we can work with this here, okay? So the first shot here leads him to a post and ties him. So the post is pretty important here. So I'm just going to gesture in like a post here. I'm just trying to think of like a, let's go to color. I'm just going to gesture in a quick perspective here, just so you guys can see sort of what I'm thinking. Just trying to think in my head logically, how would this work here? Oops. So maybe we got the horseman here. He's pointing at it. And the prisoner's a little reluctant to go there. And we got to have the horse right here, you know. And what I'm going to do here, because I know those trees are important because they've got zombies in them. That's something that happens in the future. It's sort of like a what's it called? Foreshadowing sort of idea. It helps. You'll see how it helps place this element right here of the gunshot going off in the trees. I know this is very scribbly, so hopefully you can kind of remember as I'm talking here. So I'm going to actually put trees on this side here on the right here, okay? That's a mental note. On the right is where the bad guys are. The bad guys are always on the right here, and it's trees. So the reader knows that there's trees going on there. So we're going to have that. Next, we got to have him tied up to the post. One of the shots you can do here is this towering shot where you have whoever is more important towering over the other character here. Okay, so maybe we can have the hands here, and again, I'm not really leaving too much room for speech bubbles because I don't know if there's any dialogue. We can have the character kind of looking up at the horseman. The horseman's tying up chains here. Maybe he's got that hat. I don't know. Maybe he's got a hat. It just makes his silhouette look a little different. That's pretty rough. Maybe we'll just hint some trees here. Okay. And one more thing too to keep in mind when you're looking at like eye movement going through a page, you don't necessarily need it all the time. It's not like a hardened rule. It is something to be aware of, and you can get away with it after you figure this stuff out. Like for example, this first panel here, let's just blow it up here, almost like to really tighten it up. Let's get our grid in there. So it'll be something like this perhaps. Right, so we've got like this post kind of thing here. I can figure out stuff to guide the eye. We're gonna have all in here's the trees, yada yada yada, all that stuff. You can actually just black these out and leave that post all in white so that the black trees really make it pop a little bit more, right? But we know from left to right, that's the way it's always gonna go. So if you've got your guy here with the hat, and you've got the prisoner here, you can have him looking there, right? This guy, put them all in shadow here. You got your cool horse. Well, you can't really tell what's going on here. But he's got his rope here. You know, like you can have their eyes moving along that way. And if you look, this is much different than what's going on here on this left one. This left one scribbled ideas. It's then up to you when you go into here to tighten it up. Again, this is just how I like to work with thumbnails. I like to just jam out an idea and get the feeling of it. Do this version here 2 or 3 times and then jump into this here. So we've got him leaning into here. You might even be able to do the Greg Capullo sort of thing if you guys are into that. I don't even call it Greg Capullo sort of thing. It's just it's a storytelling thing. Manga does it a lot, where it's just an extreme close-up of something. You could have the hands in handcuffs, something like that. And then you could have in this shot maybe now the bad guy's sort of like recoiling away from the pillar, and you can still show here like what we're doing is I'm trying to give a time and space between the locking of the handcuffs to him sort of backing up and drawing his hand with a gun at the guy. And again, we're going to put the horse in here. Like the horse just doesn't disappear. And trees in the background. So what I'm doing here is this panel here, panel 2, the horseman locked up the chains. Panel 3, we're just showing a close-up of the chains. Maybe there's like a cool piece of dialogue in there. The guy is pleading for his life or something. But you can have just that, damn it, the guy's locked up. You know, it's a very claustrophobic panel. And then the next one, it's maybe reveal. I don't know what this shot would look like exactly. I'm just planning it right now. Points the gun at him, and the character's like, you know, oh no, what's going on? Now, this is one of the important things, is you always want the last panel usually to be, they call these beats, like a rhythm, like a beat and a beat and a beat to a song, you know? And I don't know if you guys have ever had this experience. I rarely, very rarely experience this in a 22-page book by Marvel or DC or any monthly book. Graphic novels, especially manga, I experience this way more. I prefer to go to manga specifically for story, because I can read an entire 200-page manga and it could be an all-action part of the story, and then the next one can be slow and just learning about the characters. But most of the time in like a 22-page Spider-Man, let's say, these beats are they're not as impactful. And then once like 5 or 6 issues are collected into a trade, it's still not that same rhythm, okay? So you need to ask yourself these things. If this is intended for like a 22-page audience, there's that. If this is geared towards the graphic novel / manga route, you feel free to have some room to breathe, experiment with things, have a whole panel of just them, have 10 pages of this guy walking this prisoner through the desert with no dialogue. Then, with that exact same 10 pages, add dialogue. And flip through them when you're done. Notice the difference in pacing that gives you. When there's just characters walking through, or it's characters talking. With the talking, it slows it down, right? But these are very practical things to try out, and I recommend doing it, okay? Because I don't think you'll find out what kind of storyteller you are unless you try to do that. And there's, like somebody just said right now, I'm quoting Bleach and Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, all these stories do this, where when it's action, it's balls of the wall action, and when it's slowed down character development, it's story, right? It's people playing pranks on each other. It's, oh, you know, this person's a jerk. No, maybe I like this girl. I'm very fond of her. This sort of stuff. Or you'll see, like you guys might notice, you'll open up a page of a manga or something, and all it'll be doing is showing you a city, and it'll show a bird, and it'll show some grass on the ground. It'll show a creaky tavern sign as it swings in the wind. All that's doing is it's like reading a book. It's placing you in an environment. That's all it is. So if you're able to do that, I highly recommend doing that, if that's the style you want to do, okay? So in this case, what I'm worrying about is this last panel. Do I want that to be the bang, the shot? Do I want the next page to be the bang, the shot? I don't know. I know there's a part here where we're talking about revealing bones. That's actually really important. Let me just... I still find it weird. I feel like he's shooting past this guy to... Like, if I'm starting to put this story together now, it sounds like he's locking this dude up, shooting in the woods, so that zombies get attracted and they're going to come eat this guy. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this. And if that's the case, that's the route I'm going to go right now with that, okay? John, you can let me know if that's right. Or Jim, sorry. Let me know if that's right. And then... Because I feel like that's sort of where this is going. I can't imagine this guy would lock a guy up and shoot into the forest and then, like... I just want to fight against zombies. It is? Okay, cool. So now I'm sort of seeing like this story coming together in my head. I don't know if this is exactly what this is, but maybe it's a lawman, you know, and what he does is he just gets the worst of the worst. He brings them out in the middle of nowhere, ties them up to this stake where the bones of these eaten people or eaten scum and villainy of people, and these zombies come and eat them. That's what he does. That's his job. He's a zombie-man lawman kind of thing. Oh, we don't know. Okay, so in my place, I'm just putting this together myself. Okay, that's just what he likes to do, and I could just see him. I can see the last page of him just kind of looking back on his horse in the distance, and you just see where that guy is, and just a swarm around him eating him. I think that'd be kind of a cool, you know, kind of shot. So knowing that, there's a few things that are important. This. Bad guy, I don't know if he knows this just yet. I'm assuming if he lives in this world, he knows about these zombies. There's a zombie problem, right? So knowing that, I feel like right here he'd be talking to him. He'd pull out a gun, and the guy's sort of like, "Oh, you're gonna shoot me?" That might even be the merciful way out, you know, that sort of thing. But our lawman is no. There's more to this. So if that's the case, then I want this bang to be on the next page, because I know the zombies is going to be a really cool way to end that page. So in this one, I want it to end in some drama, that build up. You know, I want people to go like, "Oh, what the hell? What are they talking about?" kind of thing. So he's got a gun at him. What are we going to do? We're going to... I think, you know, we really haven't shown the gunman too much. So this is where we can have your really cool panel of the gun in the foreground, you know, and our, you know, we'll call him our hero. I don't know if this is really a hero, but in this world it very well could be. He's in the foreground with a gun just coming in your face. I want to leave some room for dialogue because I feel like this would be a really cool spot for him to start saying, you know, like some witty kind of things, like, you know, I don't know, I'm not going to come up with stuff right now. So he's looking at him, and he's telling him, you know, "You don't deserve the quick death," sort of thing. "This is my second time this week out here." And this is where we can kind of have, I think, a really cool shot. We could put the gun like right in our face, right? And here we can have the scumbag who's hooked up to this post, his head can be turning into here, and behind him, because we haven't really revealed it yet. Like if you look up at the top panel, it's still here in the foreground. We really haven't shown the ground, so it's kind of a cool reveal, you know, back and forth. So here we can have like just, I don't know if it'd be the bones of a human. It should be, but I think you could also get real nasty with it. Like not hunks of meat. I know why zombies were here. They're just gonna destroy that, but bones. But there's got to be some nastiness you could put here. But I like that they put just you know, like not a whole bunch, even though it looks like it. But there's enough there to make you kind of go like ugh. And again, trees. Don't forget your trees. Trees are going to cement this. So that would be the first page. Second page would be the easier one for you. Like, all right, you've done all your work setting this up, building that. Now here's a cool part. Let's start drawing some kick-ass zombies. Like that last panel is probably especially what you're looking for. So what I would do here is I would build up just two more panels here, okay? Actually, it'd be three. So one. Actually, no, it'd be two panels. 1, 2, bang, like this. Okay, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna have the gun right here. Feel free to play with angles. I'm just going quick here. Close up of the gun, and what I'm trying to show here is I want that finger on the trigger. Actually, that's stupid. You can have the whole friggin' trigger right here with the hand on it, you know. Show it's like moments away from happening, him pulling the trigger. And here we can show the guy, the prisoner. Doesn't want to get shot. Maybe his shoulders are up. Maybe he's blocking his head a little bit, like he doesn't want to get shot. Or you could even close up even more and just like have his eyes squinting. That's probably even better. I want that. I want it all like, imagine you got this in a film and it's just close-ups, insane close-ups here. So maybe we got his eyes. He's squinting, you know. Eyebrows are all furrowed or whatever. I would definitely be thinking about having so here I've got the hero here with that top hat. That's sort of like what I'm using for the silhouette. Maybe this guy's got a mole on his face that you've had for a while. So you put that mole in there just so you know it's him. Put some beading sweat down here. And then now this is where I would have that shot. Let me get my lasso tool here. Where are you? Oh, nope. Oh, I got it on the other side here. Go here. Where will show me that? Right here. Right? And you just put all your birds flying away here, right? And this is where you could do that sort of... You don't have to show. We know where they're at. We already know where they're at. And then this last panel is this is the sweet shit right here. So you can still have this guy. This really cool money shot of like a zombie. I'm not going to get in there. You can draw him here like, you know, something startled him. But his buddies here, these guys can all be walking into the distance. So your eye is still going from left to right, even though this guy is breaking that pattern. This guy maybe is looking halfway. So here's the thing in framed ink that they talk about. You show the motion of something that's happening between them. So like, how does one go to the next? So this guy's looking at us, then this guy's looking away, and then this guy's looking into the background. So it gives you it's a really nice visual flair of having a character move in the distance like this. But what this does is it shows a horde of zombies, right? Which I'm assuming you want. Lots of trees again, you know, show the trees. They're in the woods. So make sure you got trees coming in their face and stuff. They're in it. But this guy, this is where you get to show like the, you know, like the blood-stained teeth and stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna end it here. Hopefully that helped you. What time is it? Yeah, wow, we did 40 minutes of this, so we're gonna get back to what I was working on. But hopefully this helped you out, John or Jim. Why do I keep calling you John? Yeah, one page for all of that just feels a little too congested. I just feel like you're missing out on some stuff here that would really help with some storytelling, right? Like here, I'm just going to go over it again one more time what we started with. So we got the characters coming up. My character's locked. They're having that little discussion of, you know, like, you know what you did, I'm going to come here. And then he shoots. and some zombies are told. So now that I know the actual feeling of the story and stuff, it's all, you have it all here. It's all there. The information's there with the speech bubbles are there, but I feel like it's too quick. There's no build up and stuff. So what I'm trying to do in these ones is I give a little extra room for them to talk, feel some emotion, go back and forth. And then in this one, we're finally building up the tension of a zombie, and you end at the zombie. People are going to want to turn the page after they see zombies for the first time in the book, right? Or this is, you know, to be continued. This is the kind of stuff that's important in getting people to turn a page in a comic book. It's just like when you write a novel, at least what I've heard, is it's not necessarily the pages that make you keep turning. It's how that chapter starts and ends. They have to be interesting enough for you to keep going. Same thing happens here, guys. You want people to turn the page. Now, in my opinion, if this was a script given to me from a writer, I might even actually go ahead and say, you know, if it is 22 pages, you might not be able to do this. There might be something you can trim down the road. But if this is a critical point in the story, which if it was a 22-page book, this could be the end of the book. This right here is the end, you know, or this is the beginning. This is setting it up, and that sort of stuff. And so Jim's saying there he wanted to pace it out, but literally tried to show too much too fast and blew his wad, so to speak. And that's what I'm saying is, as much as we want to get to this stuff right here, you know, it's not as impactful unless we started with this. And unfortunately, when we're all showing each other's art, like I'm showing you guys my stuff, and you guys are going back and forth, we only usually see a page at a time. Okay, but we need to remember, and this is actually a very tough thing to do, and I struggle with it all the time. But you need to remember that you're in the business of making a comic book, not a comic page, right? So inevitably, the person that's going to see this and give you the most bang for your buck, hell, even the people that are going to pay you, or the people that might offer you work because of this stuff, they'll look at this page for its artistic quality, but pages tell that story, right? Nobody goes to a movie and just watches stills. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm preaching to the choir here. I just want to really cement it out there, because this video feels like somebody said, who said that? Pillowhead. Wow, call the video how to expand a story. So hopefully you guys got a kick out of that and all that stuff. Again, I know I went over quite a bit here. I didn't mean for it to go in depth this much, but if you want to hear it again, it'll be uploaded on the weekend. So thanks, Jim, for throwing it out there. I wish you the best in whichever decision you choose here. If you're going to stick with what you had there, or if you're going to try to apply this sort of thing, you know, best of luck to whichever you end up doing here. And we get to go back to doing some of my own zombies. Mapping pen. There we go. Alright, so I'm starting to, in this Worlds of Peril stuff you guys hear me talking about all the time. You move the lasso fill to the selection. Oh, yep, no problem. Oh, you asked for a script too? Hopefully I didn't turn you down. Or if they didn't give you a script, maybe we'll talk after about exactly what your criteria was for that project. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. Again, like I said before we started, I could just spend time in here just noodling away with this stuff just to get the skin and all that, but I want to make sure that I got all the information in here that I'm going to need. Because we don't have all day to work on this as much as I'd love to. Oh. So just got to get the important information out here. Just the steamy radiation stuff. Let's get some steam kind of coming off there. Good night, bud. Could you make a full video on pacing? Yeah, I would like to. It's my intentions that once this project's done, I've said this for the last couple weeks now, but you know, I don't mind repeating myself because it's fun to just talk about it because it's very exciting. But once Worlds in Peril here is done, I'm going to be taking some time off to just study and learn myself, as well as make some more of content for YouTube. And I was even thinking, you guys let me know if you guys are interested in this. Yeah, the homeschooling is what I plan on doing, and I'm very excited to do that. It's been so long since you know, I've always been bouncing back and forth of like, I need client work, I need, you know, but I have a day job now that I really enjoy, making video games. I don't need to bust my ass that hard anymore, you know. It's a very weird way to think about it and stuff, but that's not really what you guys want to hear. I'm trying to think of other ways that I can produce content and stuff that might be enjoyable. And I don't want to just go to the, oh, well, I'm going to ask for money route. But at the same time, some of the videos I want to do, they're a little longer. Like, I would love to do hour to 5 hour long videos of just my experience through comics anyway. And it's I'm flattered that there's interest in it. Just because of my, like, if you think about it, there's not very many comic book stuff that I've done. I've done the big ones that just jump out right away are this here, Worlds in Peril, because it's the newest stuff I'm doing, and it's not really a comic book. I think it's 12 pages in the beginning of an introduction to the game itself, and then stuff like this that's just pinups. And I find it really awesome that you guys are interested in this. I really appreciate that. A lot of support, which is, you know, you can't really ask for much more than that. But this, then there's the standard that we worked on before, which was a really great experience. I did an issue of the Hero Code. I don't know how many of you guys know about that, but there's that as well. So, Pillowhead's asking, so after this project's done, no more live stuff for a while? No, the Wednesday show is going to be going on till something else happens in my life where I'm not able to do so. Don't worry about that. None of this stuff will ever change. You guys probably won't even notice the difference in what's happening. It'll just be the content that I'm drawing is just for me this time. It's not for anybody else. So that's why it's very exciting. But just going back really quickly to that specific tutorial content, that's what I'm sort of thinking of the paid stuff. At least trying it out. See what happens. There's this really cool website called Gumroad. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. I've purchased tutorials from artists on there, and I love the service, and I thought it was really great. So I've tossed around ideas of, you know, not just that storytelling pacing, but that one of how I personally go about doing like a mini comic, which I think a lot of people might be interested in. It would go over basically, I don't want to say the nuts and bolts of comics, but it would just go over how to kind of prepare a comic book and get you there. And that stuff would be anywhere from like $5 to $10, you know, for like, I don't know, 1 to 5 hours of content with the videos and all the other things. So we'll see where it's going to go. I think it's an interesting place to go because it'll be another way that I can generate income without having to take on client work. And that's sort of the point. Not that I don't like doing this stuff, but I would argue, I would think most artists out there, if you were able to, you would do 100% of your own stuff and make a living off of it. Whether that's a very modest living, I think most people would be okay with. If you were able to make money to feed yourself, clothe yourself, put a roof over your head, and save a little bit of cash for those rainy days, if you were able to do all that stuff, making your own stuff, I think that's a very cool thing. Drawing with Jazzo wrote. I've seen some of his stuff. I don't know. I don't know what he does. I just feel like that's what I just talked about. There's sort of like the road I think maybe independent artists want to go. I don't know if all artists want to go that road. I know there's people that would die to work for clients and stuff. Not clients necessarily, but like Marvel, DC, and I would never knock any of those guys. I think I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think it'd be very cool to draw the Hulk. If I could draw a book, it'd be the Hulk. That'd be fun to draw. But that's not my goal in life. But if it's your goal in life, I hope you the best, and I wish you get there. I hope it comes true. He does animation. Okay. What's up, Michael? See if I can kind of have a... And I know that there's line weights on here, obviously. That's just the style that I ink in. But normally we would go back over here and we'd add some shadows and stuff. I'm not really doing that anymore. I'm just doing that in colors. That's just... I've said I'm trying to hit the deadline, but we know that's not going to happen now. But there's still a date that I want to hit, even though I've been given a few more days, right? So I'll let a lot of the color do some of the serious lifting here. All right, so let's get that lasso tool back out. I'm gonna do a little bit inking here. This is, whoops, for the reflection on this mask. And we'll jazz it up with some sparkly stuff once we get to color. Would you draw fan fiction for money? And then with that, is that even legal? Fan fiction? I think if I were to go that route, I wouldn't do this myself. Well, I don't want to say I wouldn't. I want to say that I would heavily think that I wouldn't. But I do know of one artist, and I won't say their name because it doesn't really matter, but they confided in me, and this is going back, oh my gosh, 10 years ago now, and his stuff is actually still out there, and it's gotten much more better in that. But he was joking, saying, you know what, I've gone to conventions and I see all these people drawing naked chicks and stuff, and as much as I don't like it, it sells insane. So what he did was he went under a pen name, made a whole brand new name, made a website, spent about three to 4 months just drawing naked chicks, basically, and fan art, Marvel characters, video game characters, anime, obviously anime, and just made a website, posted all this stuff up there, and said they were all for client. This was all client portfolio work, which it wasn't. But you guys, I don't know if any of you guys have tried it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it's the you fake it till you make it sort of thing mentality. So if somebody's going to tell you you didn't really have all those clients, make them prove it. So what he did is he had all this stuff, and then he started going to forums, posting, hey, if you guys are looking for commissions and blah, blah, blah. And then organically people want to see or have his naked rogue or naked Mega Man, but as a chick. I don't know, just fetish, weird stuff. He's doing way better now than if he continued, and he still wants to work for Marvel, and his two styles are actually different. He's got his, I'd like to call it his prostitute style, where he whores himself out by drawing sexually explicit stuff, but then his style for trying to work for Marvel and stuff, with, you know, it's radically different. But you know, I can't. That's a business thing. I forget exactly where we were kind of going. Oh, with the fan fiction. So I don't know. If I was to do that, I would probably go under an alias. Not that I think anybody would go after me or anything like that. Like, I don't think I'm that important, but I don't know. It might be something. It's not something that I've considered. Why is it something you're thinking of doing? Oh, you've been in Costa Rica for a while. How was it? Was it good? Welcome back. Pillow. So he has been to the adult section on here. I won't say if they have or haven't. But yeah, the adult section here on Picarto TV is that's some wild stuff, man. I don't know. Yep. So, you know, as much as porn's porn, whatever your stance is on that, there's a giant market for it based on the amount of money these people make off of it. So you gotta eat, you gotta live, you gotta do your thing. There's worse things to do than to draw naked women or men or furries, which I'm not a fan of. God knows I'm not a fan of that. But people are, and everybody makes money, and they're allowed to spend it on what they like, right? As long as nobody's getting hurt in the process. So there's lots of, if you can learn to draw, or not even learn to draw, if you can learn to draw stuff people like, there's a business there for it. But it might take some time. That's basically what I was just trying to get at that. It's a really weird way of going around. Have I ever, hey Matador, have I ever thought of trying storyboarding? It's crossed my mind from time to time, but not really. No, I mean, if it was to pay the bills, then I would consider it more heavily. Right now, I have a job, and I enjoy it, but it's the time now to just do comics for myself and just draw and sort of stuff like that. Like I have lots of stories I like to tell, even if I know I'm not the best or even close to being a really good storyteller. And the only way to get better is just do it, and I haven't really done that ever. So it's scary and it's exciting all at the same time, and I honestly can't wait. Can't wait. I look up to a guy, hopefully you guys know him, Doug Tenaple, whether you like his stuff or not. I don't know if he's still doing it, but he's got to be doing close to like a graphic novel a year, and they're all unique stories. So that's kind of the route that I'd like to go. I don't know if I could do a graphic novel a year. It'd be a very nice goal, and I don't know if I could stick with a project that long. Who knows? I haven't tried. So more like using the characters in an anti-wheeling, anti-whatever story. I will say, people have asked me to draw them as certain characters. I had this one lady, she asked me to do a comic. It was 3 pages and a cover of her. Her husband dressed as a superhero, their own superhero, and he would fight alongside Daredevil to fight Apocalypse. That was a lot of fun. So I have done it, I guess. So I guess yes would be an answer to your question. Because that was a gift for Christmas, I believe, for her husband. That wasn't something that they'd go get printed. And even if they do go print it, I mean, to me, it's just commissioned artwork. Nobody can tell me what I can and can't draw for somebody for money, right? What they do with it after that, that's on them. That's, you know, I put it in my contract when I do commissions and stuff. If it's something like that anyway, where it's, okay, I just want you to know this is a gift. This is, you know, nothing else like that. Framed Ink is a wonderful, amazing book. I highly recommend everybody check it out. I would also recommend that you don't just buy that book, and now we're kind of getting into the cash. If you don't got it, that's cool. But Framed Ink, and then I believe his first name is Matius. He also did his own book called Steel Sky, I believe it's called. Trial of Steel, that's what it is, Trial of Steel. And you can actually see his work that he talks about in Framed Ink applied in a comic book fashion. Blew my mind. You might not like the story. The story's actually pretty dry, and there's, at the end there, it kind of fell apart. But the artwork, oh my god, the artwork. The artwork, so good. What's that? For instance, Hulk goes vegan because... like he's green, and then you use him to get the point across. That I don't. I mean, there's comedy, right? Like people do cartoons all the time. You wouldn't call him the Hulk. You probably just change a couple things. Call him, you know, like the Vulk or the Bulk or something like that, and just, you know, go that. There's creative ways around it, but I think there's probably more important or better ways to get a point across myself. As for contracts, you can go to a lawyer, or you can look online. There's tons of free contracts online that I don't think you necessarily need to go to a lawyer to do. Let's be honest. I mean, I think at best we're just all trying to get paid for our work. We don't want to be doing work for free, and we don't want to get ripped off by people. So when you show up with a contract that sort of talks some serious stuff, and you can fill things in, you know, and say certain things that, you know, like in my contract that I have, I also have it, what's it called? Let's say I'm doing a project, and I haven't, you know, missed deadlines or something. That'd be silly to expect somebody to fulfill their side of the agreement when somebody's not fulfilling the other side. But it would be, let's just say I was doing this project here, and deadlines are all on spot and everything, and the client comes by and says, hey Jonathan, just want to let you know we hired so-and-so as well, so if you can up your game a little bit to match them, that would be great. I can fire the client, and I know that sounds weird, being able to fire your client, but I highly recommend putting that in your contract, saying you can fire them based on stuff, and include what that stuff is. That way it protects you, so that you don't just get stuck working with clients that are there to fuck you over. You know, pardon my French, but I think we all have gone with a client at least once that didn't have our best interest in mind, or it really felt like you were being used, that sort of thing. So to save yourself from that, again, I highly recommend in your contract just put something in there that says what it is you can fire somebody for, and don't be afraid to fire a client. They are the one paying you and stuff, but at the same time, you don't gotta put up with shit. We've all got lives we gotta live here, right? So don't put up with being abused. You're better than that. How's it going, everybody? Oh, yep. Robson Inc. there in the chat. He's looking for a colorist. So if you guys want a job, I believe it's paid. Send him a message. You can leave all your info in the chat there, Will. Fire them. So again, just to recap really quick, if the client you're working for changes the project on you, put that in the contract, or put something that stipulates that, like what does a change mean in the contract, and that way once your client reads your contract, they can see if they want to go ahead with that, or if that's just something they want to be a part of. But usually clients, when I've sent them stuff anyway, they're okay with it. You know, nobody's here to screw people over, and again, that might just be something to do with the level of clients that I've had. But yeah, like let's just say somebody hires you to do 22 pages, blah blah blah, and you're like, yeah, no problem. In your contract, in mine anyway, I like to put, okay, so these are what revisions are. This is what I consider a revision. So if I say, after I send you roughs for approval, the only real revision you get at that point is, hey, can you make their hair shorter? Can you change their boots? Little things. Gloves. Can you make a finger? Like little things. If you ask me to go, you know what? Joey doesn't look like he's menacing enough. Can you change his body? No, that's not what this is. That's not how this goes. What's that? So you stop working them and not get paid? No, I also put in there too that if a project were to end based on them getting fired, or based on the project changing, or if they want to let me go. If they want to let me go and say, you know what? We tried it, it's not working. I have it's what you call a kill fee. And what that kill fee is, okay, we're killing the project, and I forget exactly what it is. It differs on project, because I don't just give clients like, okay, here's my contract, sign it or burn kind of thing. Everybody's got their own version of a contract. Most clients that are going to hire you, they have their own contracts. But you're allowed to bring yours in, and then you guys kind of like combine the contract into a new one. Or you can sign both as long as they're not conflicting, right? And it just says in there, you know, like, okay, so if it doesn't work out, you pay 10% of the project and walk away. That sort of thing. Yeah, no problem. Okay, well, it's over the time, and I know there's some new people that popped in here, but I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I know there wasn't really too much drawing on my side going on, but the beginning of the show here, where Jim graciously provided him his thumbnails, and we kind of broke down some story, and I kind of went over why I thought we could add a page just to build up the emotion and the story and stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed that. And again, for those of you that came into the stream a little bit late, if you're interested, these shows are always uploaded the following weekend. So it's Wednesday, what, 3-4 days from now? Excuse me, it'll be uploaded on YouTube, so you guys can check it out and watch it at your own leisure. And by all means, head on over to YouTube if you're not there, or just go to my website, jonathanrector.com, and at the top, I believe I have a tutorial button, or follow me online anywhere button. Click any of those things, will take you to YouTube, hit subscribe, and we'll be going from there. Worlds in Peril will be wrapping up in about 1 to 2 weeks, and then it's party time. We're going back to, what's it called? Going back to learning and drawing all sorts of YouTube stuff. So all that cool stuff. And again, if you guys are watching on YouTube, or if you came into the chat late, this show is every Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you came in late, just look at the clock wherever you are in the world right now, subtract an hour from it, and that's when we're good to go. So again, thank you guys so much, and until next week, keep reading comics, keep making comics, and I'll see you then. Bye.